know, they think that I just come in there and look for knockouts, and that's not the case. I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, wait, I'm here. Who wants to fight with me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter can beat me.
Demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all the belts, all of the titles.
Welcome to Bodywork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. It feels so good to be back. I hope y'all having a good, better yet, great evening. I know I've been reflecting on this past week and the weekend, and I've been on my healthy stuff, my working out, my jogging. Man, the body, man, is something else, but I'm feeling good. I've been keeping my eyes and ears to the boxing streets and gathering a pulse of what's going on, and we'll get into a little bit of, the pulse of boxing. I didn't want to do a particular pulse of boxing episode after this weekend, even though I very much could have. Lots of storylines and things that we could draw on, but I really wanted to focus on Regis. I think if he's honest about what he's saying, then I concur. You got to know when to hold them and when to fold them, and you got to know when to say enough is enough, because there's life after boxing, and you can't play boxing, and you can't get hit in the head. And the aftermath of this is everybody was pocket watching Conor Benn, worrying about what he getting and how. I'm like, man, listen, he negotiated that. Okay, but it was a lot of people butthurt about that. However, the consensus is that guy is food at 47. And I tend to believe so too. One big reason in particular, well, two really, but one major glaring thing stands out to me if he truly does go to 47. But I wanted to come out and address that. We'll probably just definitely get into the Tyson Fury ordeal and, the whole card around everything, and, just put out some fillers, put a stake in the ground for some things that's going on, and, look forward to, some things to come. That's what we'll be doing. So I want to do that segment. Mic check, 1 2 1 2, sounding crystal clear. I appreciate that, Cookie Monster. Thank you. But I got my man AC in the building, and it's been a minute, really, since we chopped it up. Sometimes we like to, I know me personally, I like to let the beat build on this boxing stuff, because it's easy to get caught up in the propaganda them spreading, and it's not really enough like meaningful things to like what I care about that's going on, even though I can always eat the fish and spit out the bone. So we haven't really talked, but I'm sure you got some things on your mind about, what's been going on. But salute, AC, how you feeling?
Man, salute, man. Salute to the chat. Salute to Cookie Monster. This is where I am, man. I just want to touch on one thing, and I kind of alluded that to you when we were texting each other. And overall, the one thing I didn't enjoy was a statement that Andre Ward said. Now I was like, just let it go, but it just kept on eating at me, and he was talking about Fury, and some of the commentators was like, Fury needs to get him out of here, and Andre Ward was correct that after a layoff you want those rounds in. You know what I'm saying? It was the same thing we saw with Gary Russell. It was the same thing we saw with Keith Thurman on his return and stuff like that. And many other fighters, either they get some sausage that they can just knock out just to build up confidence, or you get somebody that's tough enough to hang in there and give you those 12 rounds. So I get that part. The part that was pissing me the fuck off was when he made the statement about Fury's choice to put in rounds and say, well, this is the part of boxing where the fans say it's boring. And they don't understand the sweet science. And I'm like, nobody booed Fury. What are you talking about? They booed Shakur. No one booed Fury. What are you talking about? Was the fight a little bit slow at times because Fury's layoff and things like that, and we thought he was going to come in a bit more sharper and yada, 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 but he had to kick the ring rust up. But at the end of the day, no one booed him. The crowd did not show a disdain for what they were looking at. In Shakur Stevenson's case, we've seen that. So stop trying to wipe this kid's ass, bruh. Like, stop it. This is just getting weird and goofy. And it makes me question, certain things about you. Okay, granted, you're a Hall of Famer. Granted, you're a specialist in certain things you did that, brought you to be in a conversation of elite fighters. But you don't have to sell us on a product. You don't have to be that creative in your argument. We can see what we see. And that's just it. And that's where I land at right there.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because it's similar to something that Eddie said the other day. And this could be clipped. I'm sure somebody will clip it. But Eddie said something like, when he was talking about Boots, he said, yeah, because he's not going to go in there and try to go 12 rounds and show that he's some type of defensive specialist. He's going to go for the knockout. And he was emphasizing that. And I'm like, but when you're promoting this guy, Batman, or AKA Killer Core, you say the total opposite. And so a lot of these guys, when it's come down to what they got to do, when all the cameras are in their face and when the media, got their microphones out, they just say stuff that just contradict themselves. And you find that from War, but I said, man, when you getting paid from these guys, you expect them to go with whatever the narrative, whatever's going to suit whatever's going on. Like they're paid. Like it's literally like the fact they're not there for free. And so I just kind of look at, I kind of put them in the category like when I'm looking at somebody that's special or whatever, it's like, oh, they don't know no better. I kind of treat them like they special in that kind of
crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's my coping mechanism. I'm strategic. I don't know if that military stuff, that I'm strategic, so sometimes I gotta compartmentalize some things. Sometimes I gotta treat people like that. Like Tim, he's special in that kind of way. I gotta treat him like that, because if not, I'll be them blew a head gasket. And this is fruits and veggies, so that's how I see it, man. I'm never amazed now at whatever is coming out of Ward. I'm just like, what now? So I can see what agenda they pushing, because you know what I'm saying, that's all that really is.
Yeah, I got it, bro. I got it. But it was just something that just, you know, made my whole face frown up. Like if my young child walked over to me and they just had a big mess in a pamper and you just melted, like, what the? That's you? That type of thing. So I was just like, you know, man, Ward, why you had such a great night, bro. I was pretty much in agreement with almost everything you were saying until you said that, and I was just like, whoa. Okay, was that Tourette syndrome? I mean, what was that? That wasn't even called for in the context of what we're looking at, or the card, or anything. So I was just like, yeah, all right. You got to try to, you know, do something to keep your man name out there, keep him relevant, and keep his style of boxing, that scary style of boxing, give it some credibility. So I get it, but it still doesn't resonate with me. But moving on, you know, I'm just looking forward to the housekeeping.
Word, but we'll get into it. The first one, O'Shaaki's message to Ray Ford. O'Shaaki Foster is not playing with no Ray Ford. And he got all of the energy that we like. Shock not playing. All that talking over with. Now you gotta show me all that tough about. He's saying, listen, all this like, and it's wild because I had put this up, about to get real, done deal. I'm like, I'm so glad because Ray Ford was cranking it up. He was being high volume and hashtag wait, you know, waiting and all that. I'm like, yeah, I mean, but as the champ, I kind of appreciate some of that gamesmanship, even though we went over the timeline and the time that it would have taken for O'Shaaki to go through the process of elimination for the fights that he won, because he is the champion. So he was looking more like big fights, more so like with unifications. So we was in, you know, we had a little moment there. We was wondering, you know, but by the timeline, it looked like, okay, he went through the process of elimination and was like, okay, we're best available and what makes sense right now with what I'm trying to do. It makes sense. It makes sense for him to make Ray Ford stand on business. And I hear a lot of people from the Northeast, you know, basically just outright saying that Ray Ford going to knock O'Shaaki out. But then I hear a lot of level-headedness to where, you know, we can't forget what we witnessed with the Stephen Fulton and why we came up with the whole BTA, if you ever want to see it, with playback value. You go back to that, that's classic B2A. So we got that. I like the energy that O'Shaaki is keeping. I like how confident Ray Ford is. This is a meaningful fight. This has big time implications in O'Shaaki's pursuit of Shakur Stevenson, which everybody kind of just, you know, tosses it under the bridge. But the walls are closing in, and it's only a matter of time, and I believe that this is a necessary evil for O'Shaaki's mission. So I like that he's standing on business. That was the second one. I mean, the first one. The second one is 160 is ripe for the taking. Now, I seen a fight with Vito when he did one of them things that I say a lot of the guys that I was, you know, peeping out be doing with. In the middle rounds, it's like he fall asleep. He come out looking real sharp, real good, like, and then in the middle rounds, he kind of like rinse, wash, repeat, do the same thing, and he don't wind up stopping the guy when there were clear options where you gotta like really step on somebody and separate. But like His technique, his form, I like it. I just think that he get a little lackadaisical. He get too comfortable sometimes, and I think he needs to just be able to go through the gears. Once he can go through the gears, and he witnessed that, hey man, this guy can't, don't let this guy linger and just get, shots or throw haymakers or try to land or play possum or set a trap for me. Don't go through all of that. The elite, they find out a reason, and my lady always remind me. She says, "See, this is why you can't be letting it go to the scorecards." I'm like, "Yeah," and they try to get mad at me for preferring a knockout artist. I like a guy that can. I like the boxer puncher. I like a guy that can box if he needs to, or find himself where he really just got a box, but he's boxing the whole time. It's just that when he decides, when he done figure something out, he done set you up, maybe he done let you get a little bit of time, let some steam come off of it, and then he can come in and seal the deal. That's when you take it out the judge's hands. That's what's going to separate, and that is also tied to, I've been showing how it's tied to your stardom. Anytime you up in the 90s and you stay up there, you are going to be on SportsCenter. You're going to be probably knockout or whatever. Like, as long as your number stays up there. Now, that's not everything. But because those guys have to take calculated risks. Sometimes those guys do get hit. It comes along with it, but they end the contest. They take out all the pain, all the agony of getting rendered decisions where it didn't go in your favor. And when the business of boxing, rears its ugly little head out there, that's when you get decisions like that, to where it's like you could have done something. The boxer go back and they had to, shoulda, coulda, wouldas. You're gonna hate yourself tomorrow. Those type things. But I think Vito working with Ronnie, man, and I can see, because he was doing some things looking like kind of like Charlo a little bit. I'm like, man, Ronnie got this system where but his fighter just gotta crank it up sometime, but the form, not like textbook form. It was just like, I'm like, man, I could see how good, he is. And then I was thinking last week, I said, man, 160, man, somebody done put that pot on the stove and it's starting to bubble. I've been looking at Yoeli Hernandez. I always thought, Jesus Ramos and Boots would have been a great fight, but he went to 160. He just got that victory over Shane Mosley Jr. You got Jahad Tucker been making noise. He did what he did to Lorenzo. He was supposed to try to mix it up. He wanted to smoke with Yoeli. I'm like, ooh, he got a set of cojones on him. And I'm looking at, the reason why I'm saying this, because clearly Carlos Adames is the guy. Between him and Lara, they're the guy. But Carlos Adames, when he won, he said, I can either go up or go down. I was like, man, I don't know if I want to see you go down, but if you can make it, yeah. But like with you being sick and pulling out that last time and then coming back and doing what you did to Ammo, okay, cool. But he's shown me a lot of things. I think he actually beat Hamza. But with him saying he'll go up or down, I'm thinking, okay, well, he's going to probably be looking to go up. And he'll put in paperwork or do whatever move. And, he's been a good champion for the time that he actually had that strap. So I'm looking at him like he's possibly 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the division. Otherwise, he'll be a good fight for any of these guys. Milnicki's been moving up the ranks. Yoeli, he's in the top 5, I think 5 to 8 or whatever in all of them. I have to go back and look at it again if they've updated it, but a lot of people are looking for that. 160 has a lot of guys that's like right on the cusp. Troy Osley. I looked at the rings top 15. It was some guys in there. I'm like, they also had Conor Benn in there. I'm like, is he really like you taking a spot for somebody? But I'm looking at the landscape of 160, and we are on the cusp of having something to where it's going to explode. Because watch, depending on what's going on in 150, a lot of people about to start swimming for 160. It's going to be a couple fights. We're going to see when we get this Boots down there fight, the results of that, and how the landscape is looking after that, especially when Rashidi Ellis get back in the mix, Charles Conwell get back in the mix. It's going to be a fluctuation of people that's going to jump from 54 up to 60. And so keep your eyes on 60. It is starting to bubble. It's a lot of guys almost right there. They just need to match make these fights, but they've been marinating a little bit of these things. So I'm excited about 160. It's not quite there, but it very much can be. It very much can be with just a couple fights. The last one. Has Adrian Broner matured? D Calico, salute. Man, I saw a post from Adrian Broner the other day, and I also did a segment last week, and it was AC's segment, the retirement piece. Knowing when boxers know when to hang it up and when, and Adrian Broner, he probably could have had, a little bit more, significantly more meat on the bone, especially with today's climate, since he can actually sell a fight. He can matchmake and sell a fight as long as the opponent got some kind of fear of danger. It could, I mean, even if they were like bigger or taller or whatever, he could have, if he stayed disciplined, he could have been on a track with today's climate to where they need all of the talking, all of the yip yapping and all of the one liners and all of that. Where we be wanting that action again, we be wanting to see the elite against the elite. He could have survived had he been more disciplined. So in that piece I touched on Adrian Broner, along with Roy Jones, Ali, Floyd, and how he had perfect timing. So I went along with the good and the bad on my little portion of it, and I spoke to Adrian Broner. And I'm like, man, a lot of people be giving him flack and talking that noise, but you cannot deny, especially when everybody's high on all these accolade games, you cannot deny the accolades that Adrian Broner got. And they'll say, but his resume, it's like, but listen, y'all, you can't have it both ways. If we apply that to your favorite fighter, you done blown your big toe off and the pinky. I don't know how you do that, but that's what be going on. And so my heart kind of be going out to Adrian Broner because it ain't nothing good for AB. Like, unless he's involved in boxing, whether he's talking, like, even if he has a role where he's talking boxing and calling boxing or calling a couple, whatever. If it's outside of that and he's back outside, there's nothing good for Adrian Broner. Like, he's on the other side of that mountain, on the downside, where he then went to the peak, and then because of discipline, he might have got knocked back down, went back up, knocked back down, and then through self-inflicted behaviors and patterns, he found himself in these situations where it's like, okay, I just need this comeback. Salute, Maylazar. So I seen this post from AB, and I thought it was worth highlighting. But here it is. It took me 36 years, 4 months and 11 days, 6 hours and 21 minutes to figure out that streak is dead and don't mean nothing. And doing streaks and repping this streak will leave me broke and back on the streets. I'm officially done. That don't mean I'm a BAN and I don't demand my respect, or that don't mean I don't respect the streets. I just come to a conclusion that I have to make a change, because trying the street way with the codes and laws only leave me back broke and on the streets. Now a lot of my relationships is tarnished, and they feel I won't do anything right because all my life I showed them that I only would do things the street way. To whom this may concern, I apologize. And I'm asking for a second chance. I know this may be my last straw in the haystack, but if y'all will give me one more chance to show my greatness and go out like one of the greats and finish my story as a happy ending, please contact me in my life, and I want to go out on my sword for my last run. So here it is publicly, like a law-abiding citizen and God-fearing man can I guess he meant one, please give me one more chance. I hope it don't be no biggie. Sincerely, Adrian The Problem Broner. My heart goes out for him, man, because he's cognizant enough to put something out like this. It's just when you're in my situation, it's like lately when I've been talking about these guys, it's like 36, 37 years old, like that era, like the, you know, that Earl Spence, Sean Porter, Danny, that whole era, like Regis, but like that whole era, if you look at them, some of them retired, you know, some of them, you know, were semi-retired or coming back. Some of them, you know, look like they on the last, you know, leg. Or every time people talk about these guys, they refer to them as being long in the tooth. It's like Adrian Broner could probably have done it, but like with the way this sport is, especially one of these young mean guys, if it's the wrong match that's being made, man, they're gonna hit that man in his head. And so I admire, you know, the gladiators and these guys and how they want to go out, but sometimes you have to save them from themselves. Now I don't know, that's a multi-layered onion when it comes down to AB, because most of the things are the things that hamper him. They're pretty much outside the ring type things. If you can keep him, he's one of them guys where if you can keep him in the gym, but he's a grown man. So it's just getting to the point now where people pretty much have forgotten, and the people that actually have a space or a platform to be able to speak on them, they allow the shenanigans to happen, because it's like, okay, why am I going to go back over his history and say that like he did have flashes of brilliance, and he didn't really, he was, you could say he maneuvered a little bit, but like he was moving up and he was taking on, you know, he was making big fights. You know, maybe you had to manage or save him from himself, but like with the ego that AB have, I mean, you look at Antonio Brown, if you look at people with them kind of egos, even when you look at T.O. on the football field back, like certain people, Odell Beckham, like it's always that diva, that, you know, that kind of, you know, mentality, which great showmanship can definitely put butts in seats, but it's just keeping that train on the track has always been the problem. And here we are looking at the bookend of the great AB, man. I have nothing but respect for him, man. I didn't like what Cam and them did, how they portrayed him. It's like, yeah, but like, man, you can't do that. To me, that's like showing out and showing off to the world, like at somebody else's. Like, it's like, okay, cool. You, at some point, you gotta be bigger. If you're going to incorporate or allow somebody in there with you and you're going to do business with them, you got to take that, okay, you're choosing to do business with that person. So you allowing it, but I don't like how they exploited them. And it's kind of sad that we got all these circus fights going on. And had AB been disciplined or something, it could have been him and Conor Benn on Netflix if he had a good camp. And, you know, because AB, you know, it could have been an opportunity for him. I think there are little rumblings about something, because, you know, it's the timing. That fight was then, this stuff is coming out now. He won another chance, and, you know, it's Zuffa and all that. I don't shoot. If anybody, it'd be good for him to shoot. You get over there, if you know, if I would have just throw out something, that might work for a guy like him. Especially if they got facilities and all that, and he can kind of stay there or whatever, like how Pro Box did for JoJo, and how, you know, their facilities, like, you know, aided in his whatever he was dealing with. You know, I think in one aspect, that bottle, I think AB and JoJo Diaz shared a common thing with that, and that's not like boozing and boxing don't mix. But I'm wondering, has he matured? Which I want to believe, or is this just like, I know I can go back to that well, like somebody, it might take me a minute, but I'm gonna put, you know, I'm gonna take out my hat and I'm gonna put it out there for people to put some coins, some shillings in there, and somebody gonna come through for me. Or is it over? You know, that's the last one. Just some food for thought. That's just some food for thought. What you got? What you wanna chime in at on this?
I'll start with AB. At some point, you know, many people come to that realization. I came to that realization uh, a little bit earlier in my life when, I wasn't sure whether I really wanted to take cooking that serious. I was really wanting to be an artist and stuff like that. And, I came into the hip hop business just like Big. You think everybody's cool, it's just one big kumbaya and stuff like that. And then you find out that at least 90% of y'all are corrupt. Now, for a person like AB, he put all of his eggs in his basket. He's like the, other fighters who just said, you know what? I don't have another choice. This has gotta work. And I'm gonna make it work. Hold on one second. I'll just let these joints pass. But basically, it's looking at that. When you come to that sense of, all right, this is it. There is no plan B. There is no plan C. That should be the wake-up call right there. That should be the on-off switch. Some guys just don't see it because the money's still there. Well, I don't really need the plan B, the plan C, D, or E because I still got a bunch of money. But then when that money runs short and don't nobody want to pick up the phone for you anymore and you just can't find people to support you, that's when it gets kind of scary. That's when you have to start to do your own introspection. And that's usually when some guys just wind up waking up. For some people it'll happen in the mid-30s, some people it'll happen in the 20s, some guys it happens in their 40s or 50s. But it's eventually going to hit everyone, whether you're a male or female. It's just going to be that way. The same way you find out, yeah, I've been with this person for a very long time and this relationship is just not going anywhere. So I applaud AB for coming to this moment, to come to this moment and then make a statement like that. Will it fall on deaf's ear? I don't know. Could Adrian Broner, be the perfect candidate where, because of who AB is, because of everything about AB, is he the perfect candidate for Zuffa? Right now, I would probably say yeah. And he would be like one of the very few fighters I'd say, you know what, bro? Don't even mess around over there. Just talk to Dana White and Zuffa. I'm quite sure they'll treat you well, give you some fights, and you can go out the way you want to. You know what I'm saying? So in that case, the way that plea was written, and then people trying to figure out who AB is or where's his intentions, Zuffa seems to be the perfect fit for you. Pro box, no. Zuffa is where your attention should be, and I think that may be the play he's looking for, to signal to Zuffa like, hey, I'm not looking for the biggest bag. I don't want you to give me and I'm doing my air quotes, a Conor Benn deal. Although I wouldn't turn it down, but something a little bit more reasonable, something that's not gonna put me back in that mindset, something that still tells me you still gotta work for this. And I think that's what really works. Some guys, they're still little kids in grown men bodies. And it's just the way some people are. They're just forever crash outs because they just can't get around their own self, their own self-pride, their own egos, their own ids, their own libidos. So I'm happy he's realizing this type of stuff. And he wants to go out on a certain way to whereas it puts him in a position to where he does have a life after boxing. That means, imagine AB just doing interviews with people. Like he really got himself together and, he has his little moments where he's just doing an interview with somebody it might be the funniest thing in the world because AB will be the type of dude. Hold on, man. Hold on. I'll fuck you up. You don't need to be I'll fuck this dude up. Like you know what I'm saying? He could possibly do something that just hasn't been done in that space of boxing, because he has that semi-loose cannon type of aura about him. So it may be something that's incredibly interesting, and I wouldn't even mind if AB had his own podcast. He joined up with somebody, another sports figure and stuff like that, and they just chopped it up. You know what I'm saying? He could be the number one or the number two. I don't give a shit. I just love AB's energy. I love the shit he talks, and he's just like, damn, bro, you're missed in this sport, at least for me. Moving on to 160. 160 is becoming a path of hot coals, if I can use that type of analogy. I liked Vito Milanicki. He is really, really growing on me. His technique, you put the guy who had the faster hands, and they was talking about all of this power and your lack of power, and you made that guy put his hands in his pocket. And then you said, okay, you want to see speed? I may not be fast as you, but this is one thing that your speed doesn't have: timing. And that's how, for me, he just dismantled old boy. Decent speed and just timing. Now, I was like, whoa. I don't know if it registered to me before, but I was like, Ronnie Shields got this dude looking impressive. Now I could see why my dude body would like Brian Norman to go deal with a dude like Ronnie Shields. He gonna have you right if you just could get on board with his program. You know what I'm saying? When Ronnie was telling him, now I just want you to let your hands go a little bit more. But some fighters, they have to get there because the guy he was still facing still had reach advantage over him, still had height over him. So he had to be careful. And that dude did have some sting on his punches. The first two shots he hit Milanicki with right at the beginning, Bell was like, whoa. Had me thinking like, damn, this might not go well for Milanicki. Because he snuck that, I believe it was that right hand, he snuck that thing straight down the pipe. Boom! I was like, whoa, okay. Let me sit up now and pay attention to this fight. And to me, that was the best fight on the card. So I like Milanicki at 160. I would like to honestly see Jahai versus Milanicki. But Milanicki is ranked number 5. I don't remember quite. I'll check later where Jahai is kind of ranked. They're talking about Milanicki within his next couple of fights being in title contention. So the politics of boxing and stuff like that may not make that fight. And it would be sad for me. Do I think Milanicki is there to beat a Yoel Henley? Hernandez? I don't think so. I don't think so. That guy is everything you are, but with power and a mean intention that you just haven't showed. You showed that mean intention in the Riyadh card. I guess because you were like, I just can't do this. My hand is messed up. I got to get this guy up out of here. And I had a great appreciation for that showing. Now you've given me 2 showings that impressed me. So yeah, 160 is looking pretty ripe, and there's some solid candidates. They just need to tweak some things, and they'll be there. Now, the guy, the forerunner for me is Yo-Yo for 160. I like Jahai, but Jahai, I don't know. I don't know when it comes down to that dude. He's a different animal, and he's kind of scary. And I would be like, Jahai, I respect that fight, bro, but you pull this one off, brother, man. You gonna skyrocket yourself to all kind of places. Plus, some of the other guys that are there, there are people now that are just starting to make names for themselves. So 60 still has some time, but it's still in a space that's ripe. You know, Adamas is not old. He's only 31 years old, so he still may be around a little bit more, or he may just say, you know what, let me go up to 168. I don't know what Adamas is going to do. I don't know what Laura's going to do. And Janabek, you're becoming an afterthought. Nobody's going to support you off the real PEDs you just took. You know what I'm saying? So that's my take on that. The Oshaki comment to Raymond Ford, hands down, it's just this. It is what it is. Shut your mouth, show up and show out. All that talking, all of that what Shakur wanted you to do, and all of this other stuff, you asked for it, now it's happened. You know, the same type of thing, you know, parents used to say, don't be going out there asking for trouble, because when it come your way, it's hard as hell to get out of it. It's easy to get in trouble, but hard as hell to get out of it. Now the only way you get out of this this trouble, you either gotta go through 12 rounds with this guy. You stop him, or you beat him by points. But you asked for it, now you got it. So, yeah, I'm just like, I'm good. I'm good with this. I'm good with Oshak's energy. Oshak is gonna go out there, and I believe he's using Ray Ford. Just like they used Ray Ford on their side, he's going to use Ray Ford as the message. You know, like you see the situations where, you know, the one gang leader sends his crew of killers, his top crew of killers, to go after somebody. Dude wipes out everybody, but leaves the last guy damaged enough that he can survive the trip back and give the message. And I think that's what Oshaki's mindset is with Ray Ford. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you, and once you're in that ring with me, I'm going to show you and your boy, your daddy, what this shit's really about. And that's pretty much where I have it. That fight is self-explanatory. I don't see it as 50-50 as some of these weird people are trying to say. It's like, how are you getting that 50-50? It's what matrix are you using, or measuring stick are you using to say this is a 50-50 fight? Because right now I just don't see it. It's a fight that, you know, Oshak tried to avoid, because it's like, I'm just gonna hurt this kid, and now that I gotta do it, I'm just gonna do it. It's Tank versus Ryan Garcia, in my opinion, if I had to look at the dynamic, and that's where I'll land that plane.
Word. I just appreciate Oshaki's energy. You know, I like that. He's doing textbook. He's doing textbook. Call out the behavior, the moves, next best option, the way he carry himself, the way he conduct himself, and then more importantly, and most importantly, what he do in the ring. So I'm like, hey, let people think it's 50-50. You know, I mean, that's one step above of what they said about Fulton and Inouye, when they said Inouye was a hype job. So at least they're not calling him a hype job. They saying it's 50-50. I'm like, okay. You know, I'm like you. I don't know based on what. You know, especially where Ray Ford put his hands in his pocket, so to speak, with that guy Matisse, and I was at that fight, and it was like, to be honest, man, I dozed off. I ain't gonna even lie, I dozed off. I was in the building, and I dozed off. That just speaks volumes for a person like me. I want to see it all. I seen Gilsoft. I didn't fall asleep on his fight. 160. I like your talking points, but I like to see Jahai against Yoenli, because sometimes them awkward rhythm guys who throw awkward punches and he do the drunken master a little bit, it could be a little bit for, it's something different, because he used to, having his way with people, and you're not really going to be able to have your way, but he is like an offensive juggernaut, and he has a very high work rate. He likes to load up. He does throw his uppercut from too far back at times, and that's something he's been putting on film. That's like a grave mistake. For somebody that can sit down on something right down the middle and time it, can really like daze and confuse him. That's the only chink I really see in his armor. As far as like highly skilled prime boxers, I still want to see it. Somebody in their prime, but like I would like to see Milnicki and Yoenli mix it up. I mean, it's time to get off the pot, and if he don't belong, it's not like he hasn't suffered a defeat. But if he don't belong, you're only going to show it.
Yeah.
So Adames, it might serve him well to go to 68. He'll probably have more power. He's definitely grown on me every fight I've seen, because I never was really high on him. But I'm like, hey, I'm paying attention. You got my attention. Like, I like your style. I like how you represent. So. I didn't go overboard with the ammo, because I know about ammo's weaknesses, but I was happy for ammo to be able to get the check and still get his shot because it was pulled out. But 160 is interesting. Janabek, till he come back in the picture, I'm forgetting about him. And I just think that right now, if somebody were to be aggressive, like Jahai going for, like the way he went and pressed for Xander, if he pressed for this guy Yoenli, or pressed for Milnicki, or press for one of these guys, and he get it and do his thing, you can take that division over.
Yeah,
there's a clear-cut path to be able to do that.
For me, I'm like this. I wouldn't mind seeing the Tucker versus Hernandez fight, but there's a caveat for me. For me, it would be, let me see Jahai, how you perform against Milnicki. You do Milnicki dirty, I'm behind you for the Hernandez fight. Because stylistically, they kind of remind me of each other. That's why I would really like to see the Milnicki versus Yo-Yo fight. But for me, Jahai is he's the out. If I'm breeding, and now I've bred down, to where I can't breed no more, I'm gonna bring in Jahai as new stock to just strengthen what I already have. I've already bred down to my brood stock. Now I'm bringing in my out to strengthen my brood stock. And I think that's what Jahai does in that little triangle right there. So for me, I like that dynamic between those three young lions. Everybody's vibing for their position. Everybody's vibing for what they do. And for me, give me Jahai versus Milnicki. I see that performance, then I say, all right, Jahai, please take on Yo-Yo, because you have that thing that can offset him, and the mere fact that you were able to do it to Milnicki, I don't have any doubts that you'll be able to do it to Yo-Yo.
Yeah, I like it. I like that idea. It's a good idea. We'll see. I think Jahai getting ready to fight again soon. He's been active too on social media, so he's doing his thing.
Yeah,
he's flying way under the radar, but he's tenured there, and I like the fact that he jumped up early. He took his lumps, but nothing egregious. It was just Nicholas flaws, and We seen Tiger take care of Nicholas Flaws, but he got up the weight class where he's supposed to be. So yeah, that's good. He's definitely one of the guys, one of the major players down there, up there, in my opinion. And as far as Adrian Broner, yeah, absolutely, he could have his own podcast. I think that he would have to have some kind of, it would have to be some kind of check and balance. It would have to, he probably had to get with somebody that was a little more serious and structured, like to co-host, like to balance everything out, keep them on the rails, and keep the party going. But yeah, he could transition to that. Now, if he's gonna at his age, if he's gonna put down the bottle and really focus and not just rob the bank, I hope he do get a couple more paydays and he can go out the way he want. And I concur with the whole Zuffa thing. Like, I'm definitely not trying to give them no business or do nothing, but like, it makes total sense for him. Like, that's a home run for AB if he were to go to Zuffa and focus and take advantage of their facilities, dive into it, pour your heart and soul into it, let them match make you with somebody, and you'll have a couple fights, because that's what I think it was designed for, to get these people some paydays. Now, AB used to making some bread, but they have a need for what he want to do, a way to be able to get a couple checks, stay consistent, and stay disciplined, and he should be able to do it. But that's all I got for the housekeeping, just out of the notes to what you said.
Yeah, just clean it's good just to clean your name, get the tarnish on your name. You know what I'm saying? And get the tarnish off your name, and you'll be all right in boxing.
Yeah. So I think the housekeeping is good to go. Let's go ahead and get and transition into the meat and potatoes. So I had this up here. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? That used to be my outro to my old videos. I missed that outro. I might bring it back one time for the one time. And I would say entertained, I guess, since that's the vein in which I got the product. And I have Netflix. So it was easy to get to, easy to navigate. The production was great. Moro Rinaldi, critically acclaimed. He was out there. So all around, yeah, I was entertained. I liked some of the fights. That guy Riakpor, two people blew my parlay. But I put down 10 to get back, like, I think like 90, something like that. Blew my parlay, so no biggie on that. I never part ways with something I can't afford to part with. Just a little chump change to see what it do. Parlay blew. Parlay was blown. But in this whole ordeal, in what we saw, I saw Regis Prograde doing his best Katie Taylor impression. This man headbutted himself into retirement. I said, man. Now, I used to be high on Conor Benn, but that was pre-egg, post-egg. No way, Jose. I clearly see the difference. Has not been the same. That was at 150 pounds. And the man looked severely weight drained. He didn't even look like he put that much back on. But he had a high gas tank, which I didn't really understand. His gas tank was pretty high. It was a little lull in the action, but like he just did the same thing over and over again, trying to go in the same way. And he was catching him. He could have cranked up the volume, showing that it was another gear. But the thing is, he tried to get his ass down to 47. It's going to be a wrap. Ryan stops him. Tank, if he were to move up there, he knocks his head off into like the third row. Devin, he embarrasses him, probably drops him about 2 or 3 times and just styles on him. And Rolly knocks him out. He mugs him and knocks him out. I don't really know who he could fight down there at 47 to where like that anybody I'm checking for anyway. And one of them was an exception with Tank doing something, but they got history with them going back and forth. Somebody can put him out of his misery, but he did that little thing with Zuffa. And I'm proud of Regis for hanging him up. But Regis did do something like my man said in the comments. He said, Regis done us all a favor and proved Conor Benn ordinary. Yeah. Conor Benn, especially after the egg situation. Now that one when he went in there and fought Algeria when he was on this run and he was calling for AB because everybody was calling for AB. I think Boots and them wanted AB. He wanted AB. Dad was calling for AB. Blair wanted AB, and Blair was the one that wound up getting him. But at that point in time, when he put Algeria out of his misery and all of that, yeah, I was rocking with Conor. Then that whole situation happened. He got sat down for a little while, and he came back. He fought Pete Dobb. He fought another guy that was bigger than him. You can clearly see. It was almost like that movie, The Program. Y'all remember the lineman from The Program? When he was used to like knocking snot bubbles out of people or whatever, and then he couldn't have his juicy juice, and then they was on that goal line situation, and he got ran over, so he had to go back to doing the do to look the way. But you can clearly see his game. He was getting roughed up, bullied, knocked over, and that's been the case for Conor Benn. I know a lot of people pocket watching. I'm like, hey man, if they gonna give it to you, I guess take it. You in the sport, it is prize fight, and take it. But everybody's coming to a conclusion I've been said. So I'm looking at Regis like his punch resistance wasn't the same. He did get in a couple good shots. He got in a couple good shots, but like I didn't like all that headbutting. That was veteran savvy. He fought the way them guys from the UK fight, because that was dirty, man. But I'm not crying a river for Conor Benn. And Conor Benn was supposed to really like make Regis go out on his shield. You can clearly see his legs. It almost looked like he had vertigo or something. Every time he get hit, he got the Bambi stuttering legs. So I'm not sure, man. I'm just happy because Regis can do a lot of different things after this. He can probably get into some acting. He gonna be on some TV shows. He could probably be one of the people that have his own podcast. He's an author. He got children. He's a family man. He got he got New Orleans behind him. He can do a lot of things in the entertainment space, like how the Andre Bertos, the Sean Porters, the Wards, all of them. He has extensive. He got relationship with the Charlos. They all grew up, came up. He can do a lot of things. I'm just glad that he came to terms with it, because you can't play boxing. And one of these guys, you get in there with the wrong guy, you're never going to be right. And Regis is a bright guy. He's been in my boxes to watch. He's the crippler in my boxes to watch. So salute to Regis. He went out. It didn't. It looked bad, but it is what it is. He got paid. Conor Benn got paid, and people are saying, which I agree. I already thought he was exposed post-egg, but yeah, people are really saying that man got exposed. How you feel about any of that, AC?
Well, where I'm at with this whole situation is this. I have to first start off with saying something that Eddie Hearn said same night. Eddie Hearn's interview and his take on everything without Conor being present and stuff like that, or being next to him. And that thing is this. Eddie Hearn clearly showed that he thinks it's a very, very bad idea for Conor Benn to go down to fight at 147. And you would probably think that's the reason why we didn't get some of the fights we were asking for as far as Conor Benn when he was down at 147. Like the obvious fight would have been when Boots didn't have anything going on and Conor, was in a position to where he could be reinstated, and then those talks started to come into make their way into the YouTube space or to the content creator space. Bozy shut it down. Don't nobody know him, but it made sense at that time. The avoidance of that fight, or just that fight not getting any legs and really being able to grow, is because Conor just doesn't belong at 147. You're not the young guy anymore. To suck yourself down like that makes no sense. Me personally, 54-60 is where you should be. If you want to go in there and you want to try to make a statement, stay at 160 or go to 160. Do I think you could beat some of those major killers over there at 160? No. Will you be entertaining and bring something to the table to whereas those guys who deserve a payday get a payday because they gonna fight you and beat up on you? Yeah, I don't have no problem with that. So that's one of my issues concerning Regis. One of the things I was saying was, again, just like old boy said in the comments section, that either Regis does something or he exposes Conor. And I like the fact that he fought in a way to whereas he realized that this guy can't really hurt me like that. For me, the shaky legs, at first I just kept on looking at that, them bright silver aluminum foil shoes you had on. And I'm just like, oh man, those don't look like the type of shoes that will give you grip in that ring. You look more like you should have been a figure skater in them things. You know what I'm saying? So the first little jab and nudges, he's slipping and sliding, and I'm like, wow, bro, I know you regret them shoes right now, because Conor looked like he had grip. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else pretty much looked like they had grip, but you came out there in them Dorothy slippers and that shit just wasn't working for you, bro. So that's more or less where I was thinking the issue was with Regis. Because for him to come out and just be on shaky legs just because, I was just like, nah, it's got to be something else. And it looked like them boxing shoes might have been the culprit. If they weren't, then your legs are just shot. Andre Ward was right. It's just the wear and tear. You know what I'm saying? Which then makes me wonder, if you were stumbling, and how the fuck do you run? Like, bro, don't go nowhere near a treadmill. If your legs is that shaky, leave treadmills alone. Road work, I don't know if it's your favorite. Jump rope, you might fuck around and break an ankle. So the part for me was, it's got to be the shoes. You know what I'm saying? So besides that, Regis did have his moments to whereas he was taking over the fight, showing some stuff, showing some dog, going to that body. But the way his body shots looked and stuff like that, it was just like, bro, you're finished. You're done in this sport. I mean, for the performance Wilder had versus Chisora, you were kind of in that same category, but slightly better. So when it comes down to that, I'm asking you, I hope he hung him up after that. There's still plenty of meat on the bone for you as far as commentating and stuff like that, to whereas your speech is not messed up. When I saw his interview, I enjoyed his interview. I'm like, yo, dude has spoken that even if you can write, you know, an autobiography about yourself will do well, you know. So Regis does have a future. I hope he retired, and um, I'm just like, for your for who you are, your best bet. Just hang up the gloves. If you want to go and do exhibition stuff and things like that, I don't have an issue with it, you know. But the professional ranked stuff to where things matter, one of these young boys is really trying to take your head off because they want to make a name for themselves off of you. Don't put yourself in that position. There's no need to. You know what I'm saying? To me, your performance versus Conor, um, it was it was kind of a win for you. Everyone was, you know, or the majority of people were betting that Conor was going to smack you to sleep and all of this other stuff. It was going to be a complete downhill demolishment of Conor Benn because Conor Benn is now a world beater. Look at what he did to Chris Eubank. But the highlight you kept on showing of what Conor did to Chris Eubank, you can clearly see that that was a clear punch to the back of that man's head. But I, you know, like the intellectuals would say, but I digress. So I'll just leave it right there.
Yeah, I seen where Tim Bradley was cooking. He was cooking Conor Benn. He was cooking Tyson Fury. For me, with that guy, with Tyson Fury being in there with that guy that he was in there with, I'm not gonna say I was impressed, but he was in there boxing. He showed that he can box, like, and with him being in the shape that he was in and how he did it. Did he get the knockout? No. In which, you know, that's like the downfall because heavyweight, I mean, at some point you expect somebody to get the job done. It don't always happen in heavyweight, but I thought he showed a lot. I thought he showed that he could still box. I mean, I don't mind the AJ. I don't mind him and AJ getting it on. I think it makes sense because them guys, in my opinion, they shouldn't get in there with the Warden and Itama and Kabayel and all these, you know, these guys that they got out there. So for me, it's like it makes sense for them as far as the build up for it, the demand for it, how much they can make off of it. Like this, just add water. It's a history there, and I think at this stage, it's like I think that it's even enough to where people would debate who's going to win. If people want to say, "Oh man, he's going to box AJ head off," and then, you know, some people say, "Well, what if AJ finally catch him and turn it up?" You know, because he can turn up and get aggressive sometimes when he's calculated. But I'm not sure who I would lean towards on that, especially with AJ not having anybody after, you know, the situation with Jake Paul. You know, I would like to see him with somebody else to see if, you know, that situation that happened after that, if it has any effect on him once he get hit. But I think that fight makes sense. You know, I'm not anxious to see Tyson Fury in there with none of them young, hungry killers at this point. But I think the way he boxed, I mean, he was jabbing, he was hooking off the jab, he was throwing uppercuts. I mean, he was being nimble with his feet, he was circling out. It was just a lot of clinching. But I mean, if we were going to grade it, if we're going to be honest, because this is where people will expose themselves, in my opinion. If we go back to what we saw last week, like if we go back to what we saw with Wilder and Chisora versus that right there, I mean, one you could probably say was more entertaining, but was it entertaining for the wrong reasons or the right reason? I'm not sure. As far as skill and like boxing and all like that, it wasn't a stoppage in either. So if you was keeping that energy last week and you got this energy this week, I seen more skill this week. I seen somebody that was more spry. I seen somebody that could really, I mean, he could make some noise. He definitely can make some noise. He can get a couple checks and not technically be robbing a bank at this point because he has a skill set. He has something that at that size and that at his age, he can still box and be more than competitive with the right opponent. So nobody's going to put him out of misery. And like AC said last week, there is a job for these guys that's going to really put these guys out of their misery. Like Conor, he just happened to retire Regis, but I think that was around the corner, tapping him on the shoulder, just the right opponent. But he got the job done and he got exposed in the process. I don't know what the demand for him is, what people are going to demand from him next. But that guy, Reactpour, he got the job done. He knocked his guy out. That's that big, he got some work to do. He definitely got to work on his, coordination and everything. But like when he turn up on you, he can get you out of there, and he can cause some serious damage, man. He got a hellacious right hand. The only other fight I seen, Jan Marcos and Dwight Fleming Jr. I don't know if the right person won that fight.
Yeah, that's where I was. I'm like, I'm gonna keep it a beam with you. That fight had me like, bro, just put a little bit more hands on this dude. Like, I wasn't impressed with the Marco dude. I was not impressed with him. I'm like, dude, you are not gonna win at the upper level fighting anybody like that. That amateur Cuban bullshit Andy Cruz style, get the fuck out of here with that. Like, that shit is not, it's not gonna get you to where you're going. You know what I'm saying? Before he got the knockdown, I'm sitting there like, how the fuck did he knock out 9 dudes? Or however many knockouts that he had. I was sitting there questioning it, like, if this is your style and they're not saying anything different that's not telling us this is not your style, this is just the style you choose to really fight this guy, I was more so asking myself, how does this dude get there? The other guy, what's his name? Not Franklin. Was it Franklin Jr.?
Fleming.
Oh, Fleming Jr. Yeah, Fleming Jr.
Dwight Fleming Jr. Yeah. I
was honestly impressed more with Dwight Fleming Jr. My biggest criticism is that here's one of those situations. I don't know who you go to. That it was a dad-son situation, and your dad wasn't telling you punch where he's going to be. I think if he had that type of IQ and he had that ability to step laterally like that, all of that movement and dude trying to just throw a punch out there so he can create the exit, none of that shit would have worked. Dude would have just been like, nope. I see the punch. Now I'm going to step in on you. When he did start to throw his hands and after he got dropped and stuff like that, and his pops told him, he was like, now you got to go out there and get that back. The way he got it back was like, okay, just fight the rest of that fight like that. And this is an easy, unanimous decision. But he didn't fight it like that, and I was like, because this dude got Andy Cruz in his corner, fuck around, they gonna give this dude this fight. And I just looked at it and was like, yeah, okay. Okie dokie. That was the that looked like, a business decision. And stuff like that to me. I just wasn't impressed with the other guy.
That's what I told my lady. I said, man, it looked like if you look at the imagery and the fact he got that name and the background, I'm like, that's the only reason. And I seen that earlier too. Because I don't know if that one fight with the little guys, I don't know if that was the right decision. But I figured, and I told my lady, I said, they probably gave it to the guy that was undefeated because this other guy done lost already, but we know he's formidable and we can bring him back.
Yeah.
But I think the guy that was like, he was like 4-3-1 or something against the guy that was like 5-0, I think, or 4-0. And they gave it to the guy that was undefeated. But I didn't see that fight like that. And see, even when what fight was that? It was one of them fights that was called, and I said, I don't know what fight. I think it was the what fight was that? Oh yeah, the Justice Hooney. Wasn't the Justice Hooney?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that fight, like, there was a couple fights I seen. I'm like, what fight are y'all watching, bro? Like, what are y'all talking about? But I like, man, Justice Hooney can box, man. I like how he boxed. Frazier Clark, he looked better than he's ever looked. He was very, very durable, but they said that man went in there with a heavy heart because his peoples died. And I think it was his coach. But he boxed, man. I think that setback with Wardley, I think it did something for him. And if he can stay focused, he's definitely going to be one of them guys that can disrupt a lot of people plans and get back and be back in contention, because we got to think, he was outboxing Wardley all the way up until he got caught. Like, he was doing a number on Wardley, you know, and then Wardley, you know, he had that eraser.
Yeah.
And he erased all of that shit. But like, Justice Hooney he's a major player at heavyweight. Like, I think that is he top 3? No. 5 to 7? Yeah. Yeah. I think his name, because, you know, you gotta look at who they've been in there with and what they can actually do. But I think him and Caballero will be good, even though I think Caballero is probably higher as far as pecking order than he is. But keep your eyes out for Justice Hooney, man. I think that guy can box, man. I think I like to see him against a Richard Torres. I like to see him against I'd rather see somebody like him against a Jared Anderson than Atama right now, because I think Atama is like you know that Danny DeVito when he like no, he's waving back and forth like no, the other way. I'd rather see Justice Hooney and Jared Anderson. I think that's more of a, but Jared look inspired. You know, I hope he look inspired. He looked like he's in shape. He's been more active. I've been following. He's been getting busy on social media, but like. That card, there was a couple calls where I was like, I don't know if I agree with that, you know, but nevertheless, it was interesting enough to watch. I was entertained. Pro Box, they gave 2 cards 2 nights in a row. So that's why I say I don't think Zuffa gonna really be able to do nothing with Pro Box. And Pro Box, man, you're gonna go down there. If you don't belong down there, they're gonna let it be known that you do not belong down here. And that's what I got on, you know, for that.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it as well. It's like Pro Box is the type of situation that, you know, you got to come with the burner. You go into a gunfight, so bring your big guns, bring plenty of ammo, bring a couple of extra gun cases, another case full of ammunition, because the person across from you, where the two of you are, it's almost like they say, okay, here's the deal. We gonna give you a boat platform, and it has a flotation device around it that keeps it above water. This is shark-infested water. We are now pumping this BB gun or this pellet gun to the max till the joint can't go off no more. And then we gonna shoot a small hole. The person who survives the fight gets the lifeline. The other person, you'll be fed to the sharks. And those guys fight like that for the most part. So that's the part that keeps everybody watching, and it's free. I don't have to do nothing. I could just turn to YouTube or Amazon or whatever, and watch it. And then looking at some of the new talent that they're picking up. Like for some people, they may be like, "Oh, this dude Milanicki is trash. Like, how you just gonna be on the Riyadh card and now you fighting on Pro Box?" It's like, because that platform is way more legitimate than Zuffa and all that money behind Zuffa. They doing it from the mud. You got a problem with that? Talk to Angelo Leo. Got a problem with Leo? Talk to the Roach family. You got a problem with them? Talk to Bomac. Got a problem with Bomac? Talk to Macumbi. You know what I'm saying? So you're looking at these names and these trainers who won Trainer of the Year. If they're bringing their fighters to Pro Box, it's a legitimate organization. So yeah, they're a network that's, call it how you want to. You want to call them the B League, D League? I don't think so, because I don't think, even coming out of the B and D leagues, you still need that A level experience. And we're seeing guys who are coming out of that league and then becoming champions or fighting for championship belts. So I believe like the narrative is soon going to start to change about the whole Pro Box network and what they got going on there, and everybody's just going to be like, yo, it's part of what we do in boxing. It's part of it. We all love the sport. We all love these low level things that they're doing and stuff like that, giving these guys these solid chances and stuff like that. So you can't complain. There is no complaining about what Pro Box is doing. And I remember the times where guys used to try to clown me and be like, "Oh, here go AC. AC's message is sponsored by Pro Box," and I'm like, "You goddamn right," because I like what they're doing. And watch how this shit age. So that's where I landed on that.
Yeah, because that belt that Milanicki, he got 3 belts now, but they're ancillary belts, but that's what builds you in the rankings. So he got like 3 different belts right now, secondary or ancillary belts. And if you look at how Lamont Roach did, it's almost like they're so balanced to where you can get down with them. They got facilities and things like that where you could train and do your thing and just work and be a part of it. Then they got people that was like, you might need some help. You might not be ready for one of the majors, but like with Pro Box having a setup and having everything done, and you got your own promotion, they can, they work together. So it's like he saw multiple needs. And I always say that Pro Box was like the IV to boxing that we didn't know we needed, because there is a place when you fall from grace and things like that. Like we just talked about Adrian Broner going over there. There's a spot where the right kind of people can go over there, but like to try to interfere with what the sanctioned bodies and the elite, it's not that kind of place. But Pro Box, man, some people that went down there and have re-risen, just like on Spartacus. They went down there and then came back up and did their thing. Look at Najee Lopez and the traction he got behind him. Tiger went down. Tiger was with Top Rank. He went over there and put hands and stopped their guy, their prime guy, the only guy to put a blemish on Jahal's record. He stopped him, and got lit again. So pro box is nothing to shake a stick at. This is totally different. They're not even really like, you can't even really put them. It's like apples and oranges as far as what Zuffa's doing. And pro box got away, even if you wanted to say they were cousins or something like that, even though they're not. Pro box has already had way more success in their rollout. They've shown their proof of concept is already it's already done. They're established and they got a way bigger head start. Zuffa is just they biting, scratching, clawing, trying to find, rejects and refugees to flee over there, or people that's in need that ain't gonna require a lot of money. I'm in the bind, Nate. So that's what Zuffa's doing, man. Pro box is just another level. But I think we did this one justice, AC, man. What you think?
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, bro. This is just one of those short but to the point type joints. You know what I'm saying? No need to beat the dead horse, or just start recycling. But it was a great weekend of boxing. A lot of things were ironed out. A lot of things came to light. So at the end of the day, I just look forward to the next cards and the next bit of scenarios of however things go down. So yeah, I'm good with it. I'm good with this weekend. I'm good with how people fought this weekend. Some of the decisions were a little bit like, I don't really know about that one, but I didn't really know too much about the fighter to begin with, so I just left it as is and just relied on what I saw. You know what I'm saying? I got what you spoke about Hooney. Hooney's a problem. Hooney's a real problem. I was super duper impressed with Hooney's fight because he made these adjustments, and once he made those adjustments, it just started to look like a runaway train. Now his opponent still was in there, but Hooney's technique and how he gets down, I was just like, he's gonna be there. For me, either one of the guys that were in the ring last night, I don't mind Jared fighting either one of them. You want to tell me you gonna come back? Hooney might be a bit much for you. Even old boy might be a little bit too much for you. But if you really want to come back and make a statement, I think you really gotta go after both of those guys. If you're Jared and want to start to make that name that there is a true American heavyweight that's there. Whether or not that happens, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I would take him against Frazier Clark. Yeah. But I think Jared, they saying Azitama, some people saying it's going to be, I'm like, I don't know. Sign me up. I'm going to watch. I'm definitely going to watch it. But, if Jared's ready for that or not, that's to be determined. I don't think so. But
I don't know, bro. I don't know. That's why I'm like, get your feet wet, get a couple of joints in, maybe go after why can't I remember this guy's name? I always forget his name, not Hooney, but the dude he just fought. Who was Hooney in with yesterday?
Frazier Clark.
Yeah, Frazier Clark. Okay. Like, get some going, and let's see what you do against a Frazier Clark. And then if you could get past the Frazier Clark, then go after Hooney. If you get past Hooney, then maybe people will be like, maybe there's some meat on the bone with him versus Intama. But he got to work his way up. You pretty much in the Brian Norman house right now. Y'all roommates right now.
But I don't. I mean, as far as skills, I mean, to developing or taking the fights, yeah. But I think they still looking at Jared like he's in there. Like I'm telling you, I'm thinking they linking them two up like they are going to do it. So yeah,
Damn, bro. Don't be that guy, Jared. You need more. We don't believe you. You need more people type shit when I'm looking at that. So, hey, let me just see what he looks like. You know, I'm just clowning him right now. Just people don't take me too serious. I'm just clowning him right now. I would reserve my honest opinion to see what you look like in this fight coming up on this next card. So show me what you look like, show me you sharp, show me you in there, show me that, you know, you did everything that you was claiming. You know what? I'm like Missouri right now. I'm the show me state, so you gotta show me, bro.
word.
That's where I landed. Great show, body. You know, I wanted to hear from Malazar and some of the other usual suspects, but you know, I guess they were in their spaces. So maybe on the next one they'll pull up and we could chop it up about some of these things.
For sure. All right, then I'll be sending some stuff to you, and you know we got our eyes and ears to this thing. But nice episode, man. Hope you enjoy your evening.
Yeah, for sure, bro. For sure.
All right, man. Peace. Yeah, I think that's another good one in the books. Salute to Regis. You know, salute to Regis. Even one of my guys, I call him the crippler in my boxes to watch. You know, tapering in, it was getting a little funky, but I guess if there was such a thing as a moral victory, maybe he got it because he made Conor Benn look like he was just absolutely nothing special about him, straight up and down, no special effects. He did do that. That is a popular consistent out here on YouTube and the YouTube streets. You know, I just think that, man, before you get the headbutting your way to victory and going through all that, taking all that punishment, man, it was good that you just, you know, you went out the way you wanted to. It wasn't with a win, but it was, you know, you had a valiant effort going through whatever it was you was going through. Is it the shoes? Like AZ said, I don't know. It was a good point. I never looked at it like I did watch them things, and that was something that I compartmentalized. I said, we got to take, you know, he said, you know, we're going to take, you know, I went on Bad Boy. He said, we're going to take that. We're going to put this in this little box. So we're never going to talk about it. That's how I saw Regis in them silver, you know, yellow brick road, Dorothy and Toto looking shoes he had. But Regis got his own style that he does, man. But salute to Regis for going out the way he wanted to, getting the bag on his way. He still got all his faculties. I'm thinking that's good. It's kind of sad what's going on with Adrian Broner. Should he have a second chance? Who am I to say he shouldn't? I just hope that he's ready for it when he get it. That's what I'm more concerned with. But he definitely has a future after boxing. What I would think for AB is that he go on with like one or two other people to get his feet wet and get into the space and all that, and then ultimately he's gonna branch out to be his own thing. But it steps to it just like everything else, and he needs checks and balances. Probably him and two other people on the show to kind of keep it on the rails and be consistent, and then he can blossom into having his own whole segment or whatever, doing his thing. You know, that's my take. But ProBox did their thing. The Zuffa card, meh. Did we get some answers? Yeah. Were we entertained? I was. I got answers. But then also I'm a hardcore, so you know, I'm gonna watch. If it's on, I'm gonna watch. If I'm available and I ain't got nothing going on, I'm gonna watch. Fruits and veggies not that ready. Fact-based content, not opinion-based, man. You gotta love how Oshaki is moving, man. You gotta promote this guy. Do a video about him. Reach out to him. Let him know that, hey, we like this energy. With people moving the way Oshaki is moving, you know, talking the way he's talking, and, you know, being a poster child, you know, for the sport, You gotta salute it. You gotta celebrate them. You know, this is what we're asking from these guys. I don't know why people still want to sit around and talk about Clarissa and Papoose right now in my time slot. I'm not sure. We hardcore boxing fans. We start inside the ring and work our way outside the ring as necessary. I did want to leave y'all with something before I go. Silence is consent, meaning that all it takes for evil to prevail is for men and women to remain silent. But we speak to the things that need to be spoken to in the sport of boxing. We always say, man, go listen to, you know, your greats, your favorites, all the people that you're in cahoots with, rub elbow with, have water cooler talk with. Go kick it over there. Get your laughs and your hearty heart, and then come over here and see what we got to say about it. You probably learn something or take something away from it. I always do, you know, even when it ain't like from somebody to get up here or somebody in the comments, I always learn and take something away from it. Something that I can put in my rucksack and march on with. But I want to leave y'all with this before I get out of here. I'm going to leave y'all with this. Give y'all this real quick. I just had it. I wouldn't try to. Here you go. Look out for this, y'all. I'm just going to describe it. I'm not going to tell you who this is defining, but I want to leave you something, man, because boxing talk is starting to get weird out here. So I want to, you know what I'm saying? I want you to be top armed, not unarmed security for this sport and the conversation around it. I'm not going to tell you who this is describing. I'm just going to tell you the definition. An individual who shows excessive devotion to a charismatic leader, ideology, or set of beliefs, often isolating themselves from mainstream society. They are typically controlled through manipulation, coercion, and strict control over their thoughts, behaviors, prioritizing the group over their own well-being. They are frequently subjected to thought reform and coercive control, which makes them feel as though they cannot function outside the group. They often view themselves as part of a special chosen group while viewing the outside world with fear or contempt. And I'm gonna tell you who that is, man, but hopefully that'll do something for you as you find yourself in some of these boxing conversations across the world. Y'all know how I am about this boxing. I can talk it all night long like Lionel Richie. Thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, Rex? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork.